Hi, I welcome you to this series of tutorials on the use of Python and other programming languages to solve problems in different branches of sciences. We will learn how codes are written, but we will be highly specific. All our examples will be specific to problems in sciences. Python or any other programming language has application in many different areas, but knowing all this is a quite hectic task, especially for beginners, as it consumes a lot of energy and time. And even it causes sometimes frustration and loss of interest. So stay tuned with us for gradual progression of the topic. Before formally starting this tutorial series, in this introductory lecture, I will give some brief overview of languages, which can be used for a programming or a writing course. When we talk about programming languages, there are different classifications. The classification which is more relevant to us is the classification based on compilation class that is dynamic versus static. So one class of language is called dynamic programming language. This type of programming language allows various operations to be determined and executed at runtime, and this is different from the compilation phase. Key decisions about variables, method calls, and data types are made when the program is running. In a nutshell, dynamic languages provide more flexibility because these allow developer to write more adaptable and concise code. Now, quite opposite is the static programming language, where the structure and types are fixed during compilation. And because of this, static languages are less flexible and they provide less flexibility to developer. In this series of tutorials, we will be focused on dynamic languages, and an example of dynamic languages is Python, which is very popular these days. There are many other classifications which may not be very much relevant here, but it is important to know them for a broader picture of the topic. For example, if you look in the chart here, different classifications are described. We have discussed so far only static versus dynamic. We can also have like strong versus weak when we talk about type class. And we can also have different classifications based on procedural, scripting, or functional. We will not go all these details. We are only interested in static and dynamic and strong and weak classes, and these are the different languages. The languages are so many in numbers, and knowing all of them is of no use at stage unless you are really experienced. We will build our knowledge gradually, and we will be learning different languages one by one. On this chart, you can see a few languages in terms of their classification. The x-axis describes static on the right side of the chart, whereas dynamic is on the left side of the chart. The vertical axis represents strong versus weak classification. The top right corner section describes strong static languages, whereas bottom right describes weak static languages. On the other hand, the left top section describes strong dynamic languages, whereas bottom left side represents weak dynamic languages. Since we will be using Python for most of the lectures in this series, therefore, it is better to know its classification. Python is, in fact, a strong dynamic language. The dynamic language can also be weak, such as PHP, Perl. On this slide, you can see a list of dynamic programming languages, and they are many in number. Some of them are more popular than others. For example, we know that Python is one of the popular languages. All those highlighted red in color here are more popular languages, such as Ruby, JavaScript. But nowadays, some other languages are also getting popularity, such as Julia and R. With this tutorial ends now. Next time, we will see what are IDEs and code editors. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and share this tutorial, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for latest videos and updates.